So I woke up this morning, my face is super swollen again. My eyes are extremely irritated from the voices in my head. Like literally when I hear the voices, something happens. Like either my face swells, it irritates my sinuses, it irritates my eyes, makes my face swell, makes my body swell, suffocates me, makes me stutter. Like something about the voices is causing me some serious health issues. These are okay, and I keep telling you they're terrorists that are talking in my head. It's obvious. They keep saying, um, you and your kids are gonna fucking die, you stupid bitch. They're saying all this fucking crazy shit. Like, keep fucking telling people that you hear us in your head. Swear to God, you and your kids are fucking dead. The bitch is in my head. I mean, it's too late for her to say I'm dead now. And anyways, so they're causing me these with their injuries, these health issues that I'm having are injuries. Look at this is a bald spot right here. All of this like was had hair. All of this. And then my forehead wasn't so long. They're constantly playing with my sinuses. The redness to my eyes are injuries. Um all day long. They want me too embarrassed to make these videos. They want me too embarrassed to go to the gym. They want me, and they keep saying, oh, so they keep saying, barra, like get out. And I was watching the Banaz Mahmoud um, documentary, and the brothers that were attacking her, oh, well, that's not quote unquote, but the brothers that were attacking her were saying, discharge her soul, discharge her soul. That's what these terrorists are saying, basically. Discharge her soul. And they're playing all these stupid games. They're trying to make me sick. They're causing so many problems. And they're saying they're Egyptian American Muslim women and men, uh, brothers, dads, like for sure, it's like families. And basically, some of them have kids, and the reason why they're flipping their lids is because they committed crimes to use some telepathy technology so that they can launder money, and they wanted their kids to inherit it, and the U.S. government is basically onto them, has cornered them, and now they're basically talking in my head, trying to manipulate records and they're screaming in my head like they're real people, they're this, they're that, and and uh and anyways, they're not intelligent enough to, they didn't discover this technology. They don't know how to stop it. They don't know how to hack it. They don't know how to take hold of the records. So they're screaming in my head trying to manipulate the records. And in order to use or be permitted to use it, they have to justify it, why they need to use it. And so they have to say that there are crimes being committed and their businesses, their assets are taking losses due to other, whatever it is, crimes, whatever crimes are being committed. And they're saying that local law enforcement isn't doing their job to stop it. And so, therefore, there's a need for these terrorists talking in my head to investigate or do this type of surveillance, which is it's a weapon of mass destruction. It's used for national security for like major breaches in the security systems. Like, this isn't for your regular day to day to use on your day to day citizens. And they're sitting there using it to launder money and then commit crimes and frame people and defame people, um and that's all they're doing all day long. And they want me to die, and all they keep saying is, go fucking die, you stupid bitch. I fell really hard. I almost cracked my head open. There was a paint truck that hit me back in 2001, right before the um 9/11. They've said they've tried to poison me. They tried to, um, every relationship that I've had, that was them getting in people's heads or my head, thinking that people were cheating and, trying to arouse those feelings, out of me. And, anyways, they keep screaming. They keep saying, your fucking kids are gonna die, you stupid bitch. Sorry. And this is what I meant to say. So their families, I always lose track of what I'm saying because they're in my head. Um, so these are terrorist families that are screaming in my head. And the issue that they're having is the women are also being sentenced to death or life, or they're going to be surveilled using this technology, and in which case they obviously don't feel comfortable, because they've done so many wrongs to people that they're afraid that they'll end up being investigated or surveilled. Um, and the atrocities that they've committed, are going to be too much to bear, and it's going to be necessary to sentence them to death, and or to basically, I mean, regardless, they're being sentenced to life. That life or death, and they have children, and so they're flipping their lids. Alexa, stop. The women are flipping their lids because they don't want to leave their kids behind, but it's like they're not suitable for society. They shouldn't even be raising kids. They're terrorists. They're talking in my head. There's absolutely no reason. There's so many good women out there. If these were really honest to God good women, and which obviously they're not, and I mean, it's hard to say. It's pathetic of me to even think that they would have a better mind to consider, wanting to die, to um uh um to be sentenced to death, rather than to run around and torture people and have the government go down and have to go be more aggressive in their attempts to sentencing them. They cornered them, and these people are running around with kids, and they have this weapon in their possession, which is it's a highly dangerous weapon. And the reason why um, they they aren't shutting them down quite yet is because there hasn't been, so many people are so broken that they're not understanding, like, all they have to do is put down their phones and record. They have the right to do that within their personal property. And instead they're running around blaming innocent people for the voices they're hearing in their head, which are terrorists who they do not know. And anyways, so the government doesn't have, I would assume, enough evidence to say these people are doing such and such, right? They're there's a lot to it. The terrorists are trying to sound like they're talking outside, so I don't know how many times they got away with saying that, but it sounds like more times than once. And for me, I mean, it's obvious now. Like after 6 years, I'm just like, oh, okay, you know, they're in your head. How hard is it to think about what they're doing, what their attempts are? So, anyways, the U.S. government, based on I'm understanding, is can't just stop it. They have to have justifiable reasons to stop them from doing this quote unquote investigation. Uh, and so I am, and that's why they're sitting in my head. And now they want me to stop explaining that I hear them in my head, stop recording, stop saying, because they're in my head and they're basically telling me everything. They've told me everything they've done, every crime they've ever committed, as to why they do it, what their issues are, and they're just losing their fucking marbles. And I mean, the thing is, so here's the bigger deal is that their parents laundered their money, and these are like 50-year-old women and men talking in my head, whose parents were terrorists, okay, or are terrorists, who laundered money, and now they're trying to inherit the money their parents laundered. And the issue is they can't leave the country unless they have cleared the records, and manipulated them. By clearing them, I mean manipulated them, so that they can get away with the crimes they've committed and walk away with the money that they've made. But they haven't. And so now their kids, who they have their own kids, um, they want them to inherit the money that their parents are trying to have, trying to pass along. And it's just this whole mess of stuff. So as their kids get older, their kids start inheriting money that's not theirs, and it's part of this terrorist ring, and they get stuck in it, and then they become terrorists, and now they're being sentenced to death. So these psychos are just, they're losing their marbles over money. They don't want to go get sentenced to death, or life, or whatever it is that they're being offered. Life sounds like heaven in comparison, obviously, to death. So, and instead, they would rather their kids be stuck in this terrorist ring with them and eventually end up being on this terrorist watch list till they all get sentenced to death. Until the last one of them gets cornered, and it's finally clear. The records are so clear that there is no arguing them anymore. And every one of their, kids gets sentenced either to life or death. And they just don't want to give it up. The terrorists in my head just don't want to give it up. And now they don't want to face their sentences. And now their kids are going to be affected by it. And they're, who knows how old they are. They could be teens. They could be already adults. Who knows. And so they're not going to get credit for all of the accomplishments that they've made, because everything that they've done is supported by the terrorist garbage that's talking in my head. And then, mind you, they can see through my eyes, they can hear what I'm hearing. So who knows how many times they sat in on an exam, and then, basically help their kids cheat through their degrees and help they don't. So the United States government's like, these are a bunch of frauds, they're a bunch of terrorists, they're a bunch of, like, these aren't professionals in any way, and they're not being, these women want to run around acting as though they earned their degrees when they didn't. They're talking in my head. And they want to be celebrated, and they want to say this, but they're abusing Muslims, they're abusing Christians, they're oppressing Muslims, they're oppressing Christians, they're causing chaos, they're, from what they're saying in my head, they're committing genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, human trafficking, sex trafficking, uh, drug trafficking, and they want to do all that and walk away scotch free. And they're talking in my head, and all they do is they keep threatening me. So, um, here's, this is me explaining what's going on with me, and whether or not I sound crazy, I could care less. The time will come when this will come forward, and when that time comes forward, I won't sound so crazy. So yeah, all morning they're screaming in my head, abusing me, saying they caused me brain damage. They, they're gonna hurt my kids. They're gonna do this. They're gonna torture them the same way using this telepathy technology. They can cause them cancer. They can ruin their vision. They can destroy their pancreas, because these are like radio frequency signals, that they're fire. It's fire. It can burn your cells and damage your tissues, your organs. And yeah, so they're like, we can, you know, your kids might end up with diabetes because they have a damaged pancreas, and we could give them heart attacks. We can do this, we can do that. So they're saying a lot of shit in my head. It's really uncomfortable. I want to get up. I want to get ready. They did not let me sleep last night. They kept me up till about 4 o'clock, and then they do this all the time. So it's like an hour. They don't want people seeing my bald spot because it's obvious injuries to anyone who, people are going to think I aged, but to Central Intelligence agencies who are very well, who very well understand what's going on, no, these are injuries. So, and they're out investigating, and they're looking through social media, accounts and posts and, you know, police reports and medical reports, and they're coming through everything to gather as much evidence to support that these terrorists are the cause of the problems that people are having, and this is a terrorist ring. And so, what was I saying? God, yeah, um, they're playing with my head all day long. Oh, yeah, they kept me up all night, and they'll do that till 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they'll let me sleep for an hour so that I'm like dragging out of bed. They're deteriorating my health. They don't want me on a schedule. They don't want me, like, they want me to look irresponsible. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't I don't mess around. These are my kids. My daughter has a tutor that I've been working so hard to get so that this year she can get back on track because of all of which was happening to me and my health. I couldn't assist her with her school assignments, and I couldn't explain to her like I had explained to my son and taught him, you know, what he needed to know to help him through his secondary, elementary, and junior high years in high school. And so she's falling behind, and I finally got her a tutor, and my son is AP honor student in college, has his head on straight. I come from a great family. It's just, and you know, none of my family would ever allowed us to see me on drugs or to, you know, to permit me, or they would have disowned me. I don't do drugs, and I don't drink, and I don't smoke. I just it is what it is. It sounds that crazy what's going on in my head. Anyways, I'm gonna get ready to go to the gym and most likely record once more what's going on in my surroundings because it makes me feel more comfortable, like I'm keeping myself and anyone else around me safe from being dragged into the investigations by these terrorists talking in my head. Alrighty, have a great day.